Hi, welcome to Kiss Me, where we dive into all of your favorite rom-coms. I'm Andy H, and today we'll be looking at Lovehard, released in 2021. Directed by Hernan Hernandez and written by Danny McKay and Rebecca Ewing, this movie follows a typical rom-com formula in a Christmas setting. Picture adding familiar rom-coms into a blender to make a rushed rom-com smoothie, but sweet enough to swallow with a smile. To mimic the LA background and Lake Placid, New York, the movie was actually filmed in Vancouver and Burnaby, British Columbia, Canada, and they cast had time prior to filming together in order to bond. Serial disaster date columnist Natalie is having a rough go at navigating modern dating in LA. She ends up meeting Josh online and starts a 4-week long-distance relationship through text and phone calls. No FaceTime? Natalie decides to surprise Josh just before Christmas and fly across the country to find her storybook romance, or at least write about the potential disaster. And we are presented with the ultimate twofer catfish story. Beyond the obvious messages, utilizing all new technology, and unfortunately people do judge books by the cover, it provides the ultimate message of authenticity and being true to yourself. It's kind of weird that the movie implies catfishing is okay if you're a good person, but if we ignore that, then this is a light, curl yourself up in front of the couch with a cup of hot chocolate, comforting movie. But really it's about the love of two classic movies, Love Actually versus Die Hard, and the never-ending argument if Die Hard is actually a Christmas movie. More on that later. Get the mashup? Love Hard. That took me a while. Alright, so let's dive in. We meet Natalie Bauer, played by Nina Dobrev, an LA writer for Swash Media, dishing about her dating disasters. Sure meets her mixed bag of LA guys, to even being stood up. Where did the yacht go? Dobrev actually had her own share of bad dating experiences, with one being very similar to Natalie, where she flew across the country expecting a romantic date, but instead, it was actually just a bro hang.
It was super awkward, not romantic at all.
Natalie, flicking through Flirt Alert, lands on Josh, a 30-year-old played by Darren Barnett, where he's finally playing a character that's actually true to his age, but you might recognize him as Netflix heartthrob Paxton in Mindy Kaling's Never Have I Ever. But Barnett actually doesn't really play Josh.
It'll make sense later, I promise.
Natalie attracted to Josh. Interest is also peaked, with Josh's profile claiming that the 2003 Love Actually movie is the best Christmas movie. Natalie sparks a conversation with Josh, making him clearly aware that Die Hard is the best Christmas movie. Wrong. It's Elf. And we see their connection over text, including dick pics. Of course, Natalie's co-worker, Carrie, played by Heather McMahon, questions if Josh is actually real. Well, as she should. And they obtain photo evidence proof. Again, but no one uses FaceTime this whole time. Natalie gets a text from Josh wishing that she was there for Christmas.
Come out to the coast, we'll get together, have a few laughs.
And becomes distracted as her boss is calling her deadline on another disaster date piece. Natalie wants to write a more substantial piece instead, which her boss discourages, since he is more a lover of epic disasters than an epic love story. However, they land on her to travel across the country to Lake Placid, New York to write a story of the perfect guy that she risks it all to fall in love with over Christmas. Natalie arrives in the pretty much abandoned airport of Lake Placid, suitcaseless, and expresses her distaste in a Christmas tune, Baby It's Cold Outside. Natalie arrives at Josh's house to be greeted by his family, Barb, played by Rebecca Staub, Grandma June, and Bob, played by James Saito. Saito is well known as Shredder in the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1990 movie, and recently in the rom-com Always Be My Maybe. There's actually a fun connection. Barnard's character, who we will meet shortly, his father in Never Have I Ever, played by Toro, actually plays Shredder in the 2014 Ninja Turtles movie. Josh shows up, and it's not the Josh that any of us expected, but the real Josh, played by Jimmy O. Yang, who is also known to us from his fantastic role in Silicon Valley as the notorious Ehrlich hater, Jin Yang.
What if I told you there is an app on the market
that you can't catfish people?
Motherfucker.
Clearly there was.
No relation.
To the Josh that she thought she was coming to see. Natalie, rightfully so, being upset at being catfished and embarrassed, heads over to the local bar where she spots Josh, Flirt Alert, real life avatar tag. As the roof is not her child, but she wants to raise it, she gets her liquid courage by incepting someone's random shots and belts out the non-Christmas but amazing tune to Meatloaf's I'd Do Anything for Love to impress Tag. The crowd is initially impressed seeing Natalie perform until she turns around and she looks like a pufferfish, clearly having an allergic action to her drink. Josh then comes to her rescue.
Hans, Bobby, I'm your white knight.
And takes her to the nearest hospital, the veterinary clinic. Natalie depuffs and Josh and her make a deal. Natalie will stay to pretend she's Josh's girlfriend for 1 week until Christmas, and Josh will help Natalie get Tay since they grew up together. Clearly, Natalie isn't no ho 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 and demands Josh to sleep on the floor. Josh explains and apologizes to Natalie that he didn't mean to catfish her, but his original online profile only received 3 matches and he wanted to experiment with the Hawkeye photo instead. Natalie joins the family for breakfast as Josh explains that swell time they had a karaoke last night, and Grandma June cracks out 2 fantastic jokes that the pen is mightier than the penis. Okay guys, it's writing love letters. Get your mind in the gutter. And her friends assess on a dating app as she's seen more ass than a church pew. Boom, crack! She hits the ball right out of the field. Josh shows Natalie the town, taking her to the family outdoor store and gets her ready to run into Tag, fitted with outdoor wear and his favorite book. Tag comes in and Josh introduces her as his cousin Natalie, claiming that as she is a lover of Walden and is an aggro climber, not sure if I use that phrase right, Tag gravitates to her as they decided to go rock climbing the next day, even though clearly this is not one of Natalie's interests. At home, we meet Owen, Josh's older center of attention brother, played by Harry Shum Jr., a Glee and Crazy Rich Asian alumni, and wife Chelsea, played by Michaela Hoover, also Barnett's real-life girlfriend. Natalie starts to have empathy for Josh through the brother dynamic and commits to the girlfriend gig, because seriously, his brother is a douche. He must be from LA. Okay, jokes, it's in the movie, so no hate mail please. At the rock climbing gym, Natalie tries to be the avid climber that she claims she is to impress Tag, and faces her fears with encouragement from Josh, who suggests to drown out the fear by listening to the classic song Don't Forget About Me by Simple Minds, and she makes it to the top to only faint of fear of the height. Josh then scales the wall to make sure Natalie is okay and talks her down by telling her to trust him, that he has her. I like Josh already. He has high quality best friend material. And he pushes her down, so she repels, then set up a date for the next day. That night, we see the Lynn family and Natalie out caroling, which they take pretty seriously, complete with a retrofitted boombox. Favorite line here is, "Don't mess it up, Grandma." Josh volunteers him and Natalie to sing Baby It's Cold Outside, which of course Natalie refuses, but Josh promises her that he will change the lyric. This is pure perfection and creativity, bringing the song into the 21st century. This scene is well worth the watch. Baby It's Cold Outside was composed by Frank Loesser and a 1950 Best Song Academy Award winner. The song actually started out as a shtick between Loesser and his wife at parties, and it could be argued that it needs to be understood of the context of its time versus today's interpretation.
Which was the style at the time?
Everyone cheers and attention hog Owen distracts everyone back to him and Chelsea by announcing their pregnancy. Josh, who wanted to grab back the attention, proposes to Natalie. Natalie is shocked and completely mortified, keeps whispering for him to stop and get up. With all eyes on her, she ends up saying yes. Ugh, girl, why? Engaged to fake Tag, but dating real Tag. You know this isn't going to end well. Even Carrie thinks so. Later we get insight into the Lynn family when Natalie and Bob have a conversation of Josh's late grandfather and his sweet Christmas demeanor. Just a nice moment between the two of them displaying how important family is. Natalie heads out for her second date with Tag, starting off with a hike that led into a random bobsledding. Okay. And of course, Josh is there to help calm her down to face her fears, with help from Mary Jane. No, not those Mary Janes. Natalie arrives home to see Josh making candles, which is his true passion, and he has scents including Jiffy Lube and one that smells like his grandfather. Natalie likes it and compliments Josh. They head upstairs to watch Josh's favorite Christmas movie, Love Actually, with the family, and among Natalie's gagging sounds, Barb informs them that their engagement will be announced in tomorrow's newspaper. Panicking, Natalie and Josh head out early in the morning to steal all the papers, and they hide out in the car. They take a peek at Josh's 3-hit original Flirt Lurt profile, which features the classic axe, rope, and bathroom selfies. Natalie gives him a hard time for this and says once this is all over, please update your profile with nice pictures, because he has beautiful eyes, nice teeth, but he's also a good guy, and he just needs to believe it is true. Natalie heads out for her third date with Tag to get a dinner at a steakhouse. However, she's a vegetarian. Josh gives her a hard time, saying that she's compromising her own beliefs to be with Tag, but Natalie reminds him that Josh lied about his identity. But really, she initially liked the real Josh, just was surprised the way he looked. But let's be real here, would she have ever started a conversation with Josh based on his real profile photos? Owen also becomes suspicious that Natalie is not around and does some digging into her. Natalie discusses after dinner, but excited to be with Tag, nonetheless asks him to drop her off before the house so no one sees them. But girl, Owen already knows what's going on, and they lean in for a very awkward kiss. Hey, I was fully expecting Paxton's moves here.
Paxton Hall Yoshida just kissed.
Natalie,
She was a friggin' sexual conquistador.
Josh at breakfast the next day does not want to speak to Natalie, and grandmother June rounds the two of them up to go speak to their friends to give them a 101 on online dating, which clearly her friends are not looking to a long-term commitment. The heart and lesson of the movie comes out here when Josh speaks about how we all have insecurities and we tweak our appearances so much that we become unrecognizable, and that you're not only fooling yourself, but the other person on the other side of the app, and it will end in disappointment. Josh suggests to Natalie that they should come clean, where Natalie is just happy to go on for the next 2 days. The grandma then leads him to a surprise engagement party.
Welcome to the party, pal!
Where we see the entire cast of the movie, including her boss, which is very random, and even Tag's parents. As Natalie and Josh are trying to navigate people and distract Tag, this is a very rushed and forced part of the movie, which evolves with Natalie coming clean about the whole situation and Owen not getting the chance to expose Natalie at a more public level. Josh hurt that Natalie is using him to write an article, and Tag upset that she is catfishing him, but really upsets Natalie when Tag says Die Hard is not a Christmas movie. Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold up. Beyond his vindication from the charming storybook that turns the movie into a rhyming Christmas movie, A Die Hard Christmas, the illustrated holiday classic, Die Hard was confirmed to be a Christmas movie by the director himself, John McTiernan, despite not being the original intention. Natalie leaves and checks into a hotel, leaving behind the engagement ring with Josh's lit candles, encouraging him to be himself and go for his passion, which Josh does, confronting his beyond supportive dad of his new candle making career. At the hotel, we run into her boss, who asks Natalie why did she stay there in the first place when she found out that she was catfish, as she always runs away from the first sign of imperfection. The boss tells her to go write another disaster for the record book, which Natalie struggles to, and she realizes, with the help of Josh's updated Flirtler profile, that what she wants was right in front of her this whole time. Natalie runs back to Josh and does the Love Actually scene, and asks for Josh's forgiveness that it took so long to realize that it was him. When Josh is prompted if he's actually interested, cue the Snowfall Netflix, well done. He responds,
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
I'm sure you've been waiting for this reference this whole movie. I adored the tie-in of these two movies at the end, but secretly was hoping for more of a unique ending where Natalie and Josh would end up being as friends, as I don't think the sexual chemistry is really there and was a bit forced. But she finds love in the end, actually. The movie ends with the Lynn family spending Christmas together with Natalie, and Grandma June asking about a dick pic.
This is their idea of Christmas. I gotta be there for New Year.
But I was left wanting more. Now go watch Die Hard. Alright, so now we're down to the awards. Okay, so for Best Kiss, I'm sorry, actually hashtag not so sorry, but it's the kiss between Paxton, no wait, Tag, and Natalie. Got it, it was awkward, but it made me laugh as I was expecting something different. Guys, let's face it, this movie was quite cringeworthy at parts, but you know, it wasn't that bad to watch. For me, beyond her terrible dating experiences, especially the one where she's dating a married guy and the family coming in, but it's basically where Josh asked Natalie to marry him. You knew that she would say yes based on the people looking at her, and what would you do in that situation? But I couldn't help scream at the screen, because what was Josh thinking? Show us some love. Be sure to like, subscribe, and tag that alert bell to dive into further awkward but sweet encounters of our favorite rom-coms. Also pop in your suggestions of which movies are your favorites. Until then, I'm Andy H, and this is Kiss Me. Pucker up.
Getting a feeling.